The OE style LED daytime running light projector headlight is going to be for the 2015 to 2023 Charger owner who wants to refresh and update the front end of their car without spending a bundle. This looks and functions just like a factory headlight, but it comes in at a fraction of the cost of a new one from Mopar. Now, when it comes to aftermarket headlights, this is not anything too over the top. In fact, this is essentially just a replica of the projectors with LED accents that you can get on certain trims of Chargers. So it can serve as a replacement to your stock one, and it looks largely the same. You're going to find the same type of 9005 high beam and H7 low beam halogen bulbs as your original as well. And you'll also find the signature LED daytime running lights around the outer edges and LED turn signals in the center. So this will function just like the one that came on your car from the factory. That means that installation is easy, replacement bulbs are easy to come by as well, and of course, you get the benefit of brand new lenses. So if yours are starting to crack or yellow, this will help you see better as well. Plus, the gloss black inner housings give these that more sinister look that the Charger is known for without sacrificing lighting output. Now, I want to take a moment to acknowledge, as I've been talking about these, I've been talking about one in particular. That does mean these are sold separately. So while we have both the driver side and the passenger side here on the table, you will have to buy each one separately. However, I usually recommend doing headlights in pairs anyway. That way you've got a fresh match set and your car looks the part and you can see better at night. The outer housings are made from polypropylene, which is known for its lightweight and strength, and it's widely used in the automotive industry. The lenses are made from polycarbonate, just like pretty much any other headlight. So again, this is going to be constructed just like your standard original headlights. On the back, you'll also find integrated vents to keep moisture out of the headlights, and you'll find integrated adjusters too. So that means they are DOT and SAE approved, meaning they are fully street legal. What is not like your original headlight though is the price. Each one is going to run you about $150, so even buying the pair will cost you less than what you'd pay for one direct from Dodge. And as has been the theme of this entire video, these look and function just like the factory originals, but it's going to cost you a fraction of the price of the same thing at your dealer. Installation gets a 1 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and the job should take you around 1 hour to complete, maybe a little bit longer if you are doing both. However, this is certainly an easy job that you can accomplish at home. You will have to remove your front bumper cover to access the headlights, but once that's off, each one will pop straight in place of your originals and plug right in. You don't have to do any wiring or modify anything on the car itself. So let's walk you through the process right now, and for that, we'll head on out to the shop.
For this install, you will need an impact, a ratchet, an extension, 7, 8, and 10 millimeter sockets, a clip removal tool, and also not shown here is the jack and jack stands and whatever tool you need to remove your wheels. What's up guys, today we're going to be doing some headlights on our Charger, but before we get started we're going to send you to watch a quick video on how to remove your factory headlights, and we'll see you when you get back. Alrighty guys, so we've got our vehicle on the lift. It's going to make it a little bit easier for us to work because we're going to need to remove this front bumper. We've got the hood up. We're going to start by removing this upper shroud. So we've got our clip removal tool, we've got push pins all along this, so we're going to remove all of those and get this out of the way first. Now that we've got all those out, this top part is going to be loose. Let me actually pop this out. Now we have a 10 millimeter bolt right under where our fender meets our bumper on each side that we're going to have to remove. So we've got our 10 mil socket on our ratchet. We'll pop that out. Then we can do the same thing for the other side. So now we've got the car lifted up in the air a bit, and if you do have a front splitter or lip, you're going to need to remove that first. And then we have some 7 millimeter screws at the bottom of our front bumper we're going to need to take off. So we've got our 7 mil socket on our impact. We'll get these out of here. All right, so now we're into our fender liner, and obviously we've got our wheels off. That's going to make things much easier. And we've got our clip removal tool. We're going to need to remove the push clips around this area, as well as a few screws to pull our fender liner back to gain access to our inner bumper mounting hardware. So we'll pop these off. Also got one in here, as well as a few down bottom here. Now we've got 3 7mm screws right here that we're going to need to remove. So once again, we've got our 7mm socket. We'll pop these off. Next, we're going to pull down a bit on our lower vent just to kind of make some space. We're going to need to pull in on our fender liner because it does hook around our bumper. Pop that out of the way. And that should be just enough to gain access to our bumper hardware. So we're going to need a little bit more wiggle room on our fender liner. So we're going to take out a couple more of our push pins to give ourselves some room to work. So once again, we've got our clip removal tool. We're going to pop these push pins back here out. That's going to allow the front of our fender liner to drop down a little bit, which is what we need. Pull this whole thing back a bit like so. And that'll give us room to access our mounting hardware for our bumper. So now we can pull our fender liner back, and this is going to be very difficult to see, but if you follow the line where your bumper meets your fender, there are 2 10mm screws we need to pull out. They're going to be facing down, so the head will be up inside of the fender. So we've got a shallow 10mm socket on our ratchet, and we'll get in there and pop these out. And this is going to be pretty tricky. And we're going to switch out to our electric ratchet with our 10mm. If you have one of these, highly recommend it. It's going to make things much easier. Once you have both of those out, grab them. So now we're going to unplug our marker light connector. So we'll come back behind it and push down on our release tab, pop that out. We're also going to need to unplug our fog lights. So we'll reach back to our connector, release our red safety tab, and unplug that as well. Now, once you've reached this point on this side, you can do the same thing for the other side. So now that we have everything unbolted and unplugged, we can begin to remove our bumper. So you want to very carefully pull this out and support it. So now that our bumper's off, we can begin unbolting our headlight. So we've got 2 bolts up top and 2 down bottom. So we need our 8mm socket and an extension on our impact. And we'll start with these 2. Now we can get our 2 lower bolts. We'll get in here and get our lower ones. And get our last one. Careful to support your headlight. You don't want that falling out. Now we can pull our headlight out and unplug the single connector on the back side. So we'll push in our tab, pop that out, and we can set our headlight aside. Now once you have this side out, you can do the same thing for the other side. Alright guys, welcome back. Now that we have our factory light out, we're going to install our new ones. So the first step is to grab your headlight, plug that back in. This is a factory style connector, so you don't need to do anything fancy. Just plug it right back in. Make sure that clicks into place. And we'll line this up with the locators. Make sure the lower ones are in place. You want to make sure it tucks behind this little shroud as well. Sometimes this thing can get in your way pretty good. Now once we have our headlight in place, we're going to grab our factory mounting screws and our 8mm socket and extension, get these right back into place. Now once you have this one in, you can do the same thing for your other headlight. Now once you have your headlights in, you can grab your bumper and we'll loosely hang this back in place. You want to be as careful as possible putting this back on. Get everything lined up top. All your locators, things of that nature. So now we'll get our 10mm screw back in place in this little corner spot. Now these can be tricky sometimes. You definitely want to try not to drop this or anything. Make Once you get that on, grab your 10mm socket and your ratchet. Run that back on. That'll hold your bumper in place so we can start putting everything else back together. Now we can put our center trim piece back in. Give that a little push. Then we'll install all of our push clips back into place. Now that we have all these in, we'll work underneath and in our wheel wells. Now we're going to reinstall our 7mm screws holding our splash guard to our lower portion of our bumper. Now you may have to push in a little bit on this. We'll get our 7mm socket. Get these back in place. We'll work our way around the outer edges. Alrighty guys, so now we're going to get behind our fender liner again and reinstall those two 10mm bolts in this crease where our bumper meets our fender. Now again, this is very hard to see, but at this point you should know where they're going back into. Reach back in here and get this other one in. Remember, this second one goes pretty far up into here. Once you get those started, grab our 10mm socket on our ratchet. Get those two tightened down. Next we can plug our fog light back in. Plug that back into place, lock that safety connector, followed by our marker light. That back in. And we can set our fender liner back into position. Now it does work a lot better if you pull down on your splash guard a little. You can work that liner behind your splash guard. Get that back into position over here. Okay. Next we can reinstall our 3 screws for our duct. Got our 7mm socket. Get these back in. Next we can reinstall the push clips we took out. Now once you have this side done, you can repeat the same process for the other side, then we'll reinstall our wheels and get it on the ground. Alrighty folks, that about wraps up our review and install of our OE style LED DRL projector headlight with clear corners and black housings and clear lenses for your 15 to 23 charger with factory halogen headlights and LED DRLs. Thanks for watching, and as always, for everything Charger, keep it right here at AmericanMuscle.com.